everyone, and welcome to Are We Doing This? I'm Lauren Parajon.
And I'm Lauren Butler.
We're two millennial moms on the brink of 40, looking for new ways to shake things up.
We're here to challenge ourselves, each other, and you to get out of our comfort zones and try something new.
So if you've caught yourself wondering, what's next? You're in the right spot.
So are we doing this?
Looks like it. Let's get into it. All right. Well, this is our first episode. We're really excited. You can just go ahead and stumble along with us because we're new to this and it's going to be pretty awkward. But I thought we'd start by just kind of introducing ourselves. Lauren and I have been best friends since we met in college more than 20 years ago, which is kind of hard to say. We're both turning 40 this year. We're both moms. But Lauren, why don't you start and just kind of kick off what you've done since college and how we've kept in touch and whatnot.
So like Lauren said, we've been friends for 20 years, which is hard to believe. And we both have backgrounds in marketing, digital marketing, social media, and content production. So we have found ourselves at this stage of life where we've kind of worked in all different environments and done all different things. But we're kind of coming to this stage where we're looking for a different way to find balance in our work and family life, which I know a lot of our friends and people like us are also trying to do.
Yeah. And like same situation where I'm like, we're turning 40. I think at 40, you kind of get into your routine of like, all right, we've got school drop off, we've got school pickup. If you go to the gym, you have your gym time, you have your laundry days, and you just get this routine. And like, I do thrive on routine. I do love it. But I also feel like things are getting stale. And it's kind of like, let's do something new. Let's try something new. Like, part of me, like, so like when I graduated, we both graduated with journalism degrees and we used to work in student media together at OU. So after graduating, I did magazine journalism. I really thought like magazine editor was like my dream job. So I moved to New York, did that, realized it was kind of just a job, and doesn't pay much money. But eventually I got into social media marketing, which, pays more, and you still get to kind of be a storyteller. So that was great. But now it's been how long we've been doing this? Like 15 years.
Oh, gosh.
Or less, maybe a little less, that we've been doing, like kind of been stuck in this social media and digital marketing world. And, it's great. I love that it's an opportunity for us, but I really want to do something new. So, which brought us to this year. Lauren, why don't you kind of explain like why you reached out to me thinking we should do something together?
Yeah. So just like Lauren, I'm kind of in the routine of mom life. So both of us have young kids. My two kiddos are 6 and 3 years old. So I also feel like as a parent, you get to that stage where your kids start to get a little bit older and finally you're out of like the baby toddler life and you have some time again to like breathe, which is what I've been experiencing lately, and kind of just realizing like, oh my gosh, who was I before I was mom? And what were the things I even liked to do now that I'm starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel, of having more time for myself again, which is insane. So yeah. I think we really, I was lucky enough to find some part-time work that was really flexible for me as well after my second kiddo was born. So I do marketing consulting part-time from home, which is amazing because I get to be flexible and involved in my family life and be a mom, but I also get to work and set my own hours. And so I was talking to Lauren and similarly, I was like, this is great. And I love the flexibility. And now I can't imagine ever going back to a typical full-time in the office job, just like so many of us. And I really want to work for myself. I want to do something for me. And I want us to be able to use so many of the skills that we have, but for ourselves. That's what I said to you, right, Lauren? I was like, I love working for clients, especially great clients. Yeah. But I like, how can we work together? We're best friends. Right. That would be like the dream. Right. And so we started talking about this idea.
Yeah. And I think like when you were saying, who am I and what do I even like anymore? I just remembered like the day I got pregnant with my son, who's 8, well, he's turning 8 next week. I remember my husband, I made the decision that he was going to be the sole provider and I was going to work from home. And so I was working at I was working for a reality TV show at the time doing their social media. And so when I put in my notice, as soon as I was pregnant, I was like, hey, I'll work until I go into labor, but I'm done after this. And he was like, great, we're good. So then I went to, this is going to sound so lame. I was removing my bio on Instagram because it was like, it said like where I worked. And yeah, I used to really identify with my career, my job. And like, I always wanted the coolest careers, the most fun. And I really identified like wholeheartedly with that. So when I removed that, I was like blanked on like, who am I? What do I even put here? I am not this person who works this really fun job anymore. I didn't want to put stay-at-home mom. I
You
don't
don't.
hate stay-at-home moms. Like, obviously I am one.
Yeah.
But I just like had this, just like, I had no idea what to put. I didn't want to put mom. I didn't want to put wife. I didn't want to, and I was like, I guess like I like yoga and wine. Like, so, but it was like that. Like, it was one of those like aha moments of like, who am I and what am I doing? So then like, luckily I fell in the same boat as you, or I'm able to do part-time work at home while I raise my kids. But my kids are now 8 next week and 5.5 yesterday. So
Woohoo.
I'm also at this freedom, not freedom, but you know, a little more of like they're both in school full time. So I have my part-time work, but also time to do what I want to do. So I've also just kind of, you know, I first dove into, I'm going to get a personal trainer and just like really get in shape and all that. So I had a personal trainer for 2 years. And then I realized that I was in that routine as well. And because of that routine, I wasn't doing things I enjoyed. Like I enjoyed lifting weights. I love it. But I was like not going to my kickboxing class that I would have wanted to go to because I was just like so rigid about staying on this weightlifting routine. So I dumped my trainer and I am now doing kickboxing and lifting weights and just hiking. Just like I can do anything I want. It was this new freedom of like I can still like move my body in ways that aren't like so rigid. So kind of the same thing in my life now. I don't want to be so rigid, so stuck in routine. And I want to start trying some new things. So when
That's
you
so
texted
true.
me, yeah. And so when you texted me and you were like, let's do something. And we kind of like started talking to our friends of like, if we did something together, like we were like, first, we both have digital marketing and social media and storytelling and journalism backgrounds. Do we start our own agency and get our own clients? And like you were saying, like, yeah, but we want to do something for us. And so when we're like, let's start a podcast, you know, we like bounced it around a few ideas. We realized, hey, why don't we just challenge each other to try new things? Like we're turning 40. Let's do this. Like, let's just see what's out there. And whether that be, I mean, a few things. It could be trying new hobbies. It could be what hobbies did we used to have that we used to enjoy? Let's go back and try that. A long time ago, we started like a running blog and tried to do 5K. And I can tell you now that will not be a challenge I want to do. I already know in my soul I don't like that anymore. But things like that, or also just like money making, like if we're both working part-time, but we also want to bring in some more cash, what are some other ways we can make money, whether it's learning a skill, getting certified in something, or just, you know, doing other things from home. So I think those will be fun challenges to kind of wrap into this. So do you want to like kind of talk about, do you want to talk about any like challenges that you've kind of always wanted to try that are just in the back of your mind?
Yeah, absolutely. And just like you said, like, can we make the side hustle life kind of work for us? And similar to your story about the trainer, like, I feel like sometimes what we need more than anything, I don't know about you, you may be less so than me, but I tend to be an overthinker. And so I feel like when I'm at this crossroads in life, I'm like, okay, do I either go back to work full time, find a traditional job, or do I like volunteer in my school and just not work and like help with my kiddos? But there can be a different way. There can be a third way. Like maybe there's something out there that's totally different. And I think sometimes just trying stuff for the sake of shaking yourself up and trying something different and getting yourself out of the comfort zone is a great way to learn, even if it's not the thing that you're going to stick with forever.
Yeah.
So yeah, same. I've thought about revisiting stuff I used to love when I was younger. Which feels so long ago. My old lady voice. But yeah, like I went to school for journalism, and when I was younger, I loved to write, like for me, for fun. Like imagine that. I used to be a big journaler. I used to like, dare I say, write poetry, which I feel like it even feels like a little embarrassing, but it's true. And it's not embarrassing. But like there used to be stuff like that I did creatively that I just haven't put time into because it feels like there's never enough time to devote that kind of thing to myself. I've thought about going to dance class. I don't know if we've talked about this much. I used to dance in high school. I was a cheerleader and I love dancing. And again, like definitely out of my comfort zone now that I'm almost 40, but that might be a fun thing to try again.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of ideas we have for stuff we can try and side hustles too, different ways to make money.
Yeah. So have you've been doing some part-time work for clients, obviously in the digital marketing realm. Is there any other thing that you've done the past 10 years that brings in any income? Are there any other avenues you've tried? I can't remember if we've discuss
Not,
if you've yet tried anything. I know like we've obviously talked
yeah,
about other things, but
not really. I mean, I've done, like I said, I've been doing marketing consulting part-time, which is great.
uh-huh,
I work with a really awesome small agency and we work with like all kinds of different clients, which has been
uh-huh,
really fun to try different things, but really just doing digital marketing and marketing strategy for clients. But
yeah.
I haven't really dipped my toe like you have, Lauren, into some of their side hustle gigs. I know you've had some entertaining experience with.
Yeah, I mean, my kids are a little older, so I've had a little more time than you having both kids in full-time school. But yeah, I've done a few things. So I have a side gig making cakes, right? During COVID, I made my husband's birthday cake, just because, I mean, it was COVID and it was just us at home. So I was like, I'll just try it. And I made him this, like, I think it was a banana pudding, something vanilla cake. And it was so fun to make. I'd even bought myself like a little turntable thing, like, and
Yeah.
like one kit that had all the tools in it. And so I made this cake, and afterwards I was like, that didn't turn out half bad. And it was pretty fun. So then I was like, okay, maybe I'll make my kid's cake. And then I started making my nephew and niece's cake and just started watching all these YouTube videos and just like dove into. I loved it. It's so cool. And I think because I am a creative person, but I've been putting all of my creativity into work in a way that's not like hands-on creative. So it was like my creative outlet to be able to like create these masterpieces and then watch them get destroyed by, tearing into them and whatnot. But making those cakes was so cool. And I loved it. And obviously there are things I don't like about it. My kitchen was a disaster, like
Yeah.
layers of powdered sugar all over the kitchen. And then I soon realized, so as I keep making them, I end up kind of like starting a side business. But then I ended up making like 7 cakes a weekend, okay? And that's the thing is everyone wants a cake on Friday and Saturday. Yeah. And then it's like, well, we have sports on Saturdays, but now, or you want to travel, you want to go somewhere the weekend. Now you can't because you're home to either deliver a cake, finish a cake. Like, I was like, this isn't going to work. So
Right.
it was fun. It's a way to make money. Granted, I probably didn't charge enough because I don't think I made much money because I did spend a lot of time on that. But it was fun. I love it. I still do it just for my kids and friends and family. But I for a while, like this year, I was like, do I go back into that? Is there something I can do with cakes that I could actually like profit and make enough money? But it's the same problem. I don't want to have to work every weekend and deliver cakes or be there for delivery or for pickup and make a mess of my kitchen. And so still making cakes for fun, but that's one of the side gigs I tried. And that's not what I want to do full time. So, but it is something on the side I can do for fun. But so I know like you're creative too. So like, have you been writing, like journaling? Do you still do that in your spare time at all now that we're starting to have a little bit of spare time?
I haven't as much as I would like to. I mean, I would love to get back to it. I've tried just reading more, honestly, which I feel is kind of like a first step. And I actually really have enjoyed reading a lot more, both fiction and poetry. And then Lauren, I know you're a big reader and you've kind of influenced me actually in sharing like what you're always reading. Yeah. Makes me want to read some more. So I've been doing it a little bit, but it would be so great to like find some time in my day that I can carve out that is really just mine. And even I think as a mom and as somebody who's really busy and you're taking care of people, it's hard not to feel like that's too indulgent or like frivolous, to do something creative or just for yourself. Because nowadays, like we have to carve out time if we want it for ourselves. But I think the reward can be so worth it. And so I think it's just worth trying and doing and investing in yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. Reading, obviously, I think it was like 3 years ago that I started reading again. Like I used to read so much when I was younger. And then obviously life gets in the way. I think it was 3 years ago. I was like, all right, I'm going to read 1 book a month. I can do this. And I started. So my goal was 12 in the year and I hit like 49 that year. Once I started, I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. Why didn't I do this all the time? And then the next year, I think I hit 80. And then last year, I hit 130 books, which
130 last year?
And then I'm like, okay, maybe my goal this year is to read less books and maybe get a life, right? Like, it's cool that I can and it's great and it's fun. I love it. And as soon as we were like, what are some money-making ideas? I was like, is there any way I could do that? Like, I wish I could stay home all day and get paid to read books. That'd be amazing. Turns out that's just a dream. So I like started an Instagram and all that. And I post all my reviews, but then you get into like, how do you actually make money from that unless you're actually like, work in book publishing in some way. So not making money from that. Still enjoy reading, but maybe I'll do a little less this year. We'll see.
That's one of the things I love so much about you, Lauren, though, is like you just go for it. Like if you have an idea, you just go for it. You try it, you put it out there. And I think sometimes I am not always like biased toward action. Like I think about it, I stew on it before I like make a move. And so
But
this
that's why we're
podcast has
good
been so
friends.
different.
We need someone who like actually thinks about stuff, because
Exactly.
I don't. I'm like, let's do it. I got the equipment. Let's go. And you're like, hey, you should
Go.
listen to this, read this, and you like do the research. And I'm like, let's just figure it out while we go.
It's great. So hopefully at the end of the day, it'll all come together and we'll bring different strengths to this. So, you know, when we were talking about making this podcast, we also talked about like who it's for, who we hope that we'll find. And I think you know, obviously we are both coming up on this big milestone birthday. We're the same. We were born in the same year. We both turned 40 this year, which is coming really soon.
It is.
And so I think for people, women, men, anybody who is in this specific stage of life that we're in, but it could also be like any transitional time that you're in.
Yeah.
If you find yourself in this phase where you're just like, what's next for me? Things are different. My life looks different. I just don't know where to go from here. Or you're feeling stuck. This could be hopefully something that you could join us and maybe be a little inspired.
Yeah, or also like provide us ideas. Like if there's something you want us to try so you don't have to, let us know. And then I do hope too at some point we can bring on different guests, other people in different transitions where they can talk about what they're doing or what they're trying. So I know I have some friends kind of in the same boat. One of them just like started yoga teacher training so that she can just like work at different resorts doing yoga, teaching yoga. And I'm like, God, that's so cool. Like what can you like, so is there any, because she used to work with hotels, with marketing in hotels, so she kind of has that spa hotel background. But is there any other profession that you would have chosen, or if you could go back to school, is there another major you wish you would have? Is there anything like that? Like, would you go back to school? Or as a hypothetical, if you did, what would you study?
That's such a good question. I also used to do a ton of yoga, and I actually, not related, but different, I also went down the path of like considering getting my teaching certificate for yoga back when I was doing it all the time. And I've totally fallen out of that. So maybe that's something I should retry again. But if I was going back to school, gosh, I don't know. Part of me wonders if I should have just gone more all in on writing. Like, obviously I have a journalism degree and I did a lot of writing, but maybe I should have like committed to that more up front, because but then again I like segued into marketing and social media and digital, which I'm also really glad I did. So I don't know, I have to think about that. What about you?
Well, it's like when I think back to my journalism classes, I think that you were probably in the same boat as me, where we learned everything about stories and how to interview and all that by doing it. Like you and I were very heavily involved in student media. So when I was in my journalism classes, I didn't really feel like I was learning anything, except for when we had to do like video editing and like actual newsroom stuff. I didn't really feel like I was learning much. So I kind of wish I had done a general communications class or major. Like, I don't know if where we went to school actually had straight communications, but the classes I really enjoyed in college were communications and like learning about interpersonal communications and nonverbal communication and stuff like that. Like, sometimes I'm like, how fun would it be to be like a body language expert? Like, I think that's so cool and something I mean, I guess I could like read some books up on it and I don't know, but then I'm like, well, what's the profession there? Like, where does that get you? Like, I mean, aside from maybe being a therapist where I'm like, your energy and your body language right now is, so that isn't really,
you could be like those influencers who do like a lip reading on like celebrities, but instead you could like read body language.
Read the body language,
yeah. There you go. I don't know. Is that a thing? That could be the next thing.
How do you make money off of it though? It's like so weird. But then I'll also say it's so strange. And I don't know how to explain this feeling I've gotten ever since. Anytime I would see someone in scrubs, I had this weird feeling that like I was supposed to work in the medical field. Not just because I think scrubs look comfortable. I just feel like I see them. I'm like, I'm supposed to be doing something with that. Like, but what is it? Like,
really?
And so, yeah, it's so weird. And then, so I was really like, I've had this weird interest in like ultrasound technician. And then I like saw some TikToks that was like, this is perfect for an introvert. I'm not an introvert, but they were like, you get to sit in a quiet room, in a dark room. And like, you know, you just work with whoever you're doing the scan on. And so I looked and it's like 2 years of schooling, additional schooling that you would have to do. But it says it's like pretty competitive to get into the programs and whatnot. And it said like in order to like get your certification, you have to be very strong in physics and anatomy. And I was like, oh, that's not me. I should just not. That's clearly not me. So
But
Yes, I had.
you could be.
Well, and
You
my
could
mom
if you
used to
decide to
work.
be.
Yeah, when I was younger, my mom used to work like the front desk of urgent care, and every day she come home, I'm like, what happened today? Who came in? What? Like, tell me everything. Like, I always want to know all the
The
entries or
dirt. Yeah.
whatever. I don't know why I have this weird like morbid fascination with it, but then I was thinking like in reality, like what if I had to do a scan on a child with a tumor? Like I can't do that.
Oh,
I can't do that. So I was like, all right, that's not for me
yeah.
then. But I do
I
still
could
feel like there's something. I don't
I
know.
could see you in like a nurse or like a serving people
Yeah.
role and helping people because you just love people. Like you're just like
Yeah.
and you know what I mean? I feel like everywhere you go, this woman never like you make friends everywhere you go. Everyone's your best friend.
Yeah.
You know everybody. So I just feel
Yeah.
like being around people and getting to know them and then like you just care. So I think that
Yeah.
would be interesting for
Well,
you.
my sister was like, you should be a flight attendant. And I was like, absolutely
Oh.
not. Absolutely not. If that plane's going down, you're on your own. I can't help you. I'm first out this slide. I am not sticking around. So I don't think I have I don't think I have the like do not panic that you need to have as a flight attendant. So I don't think I don't for me.
So you're not good in a crisis, is what you're
Right. So
saying.
maybe medical field is not for me.
That's
So I
fair.
feel like
Yeah.
right. So
Something you need
oops.
something lower. That's okay. You need something lower stakes, maybe.
Yeah, yeah. But like maybe the front desk at urgent care.
Exactly. I think
Yeah.
I would have a really hard time dealing with the really difficult customers in flight, like
Oh yeah.
the passengers who were
Yes.
real a-holes. That would be
Yes.
real difficult for me.
That would be very difficult.
Yes. Okay,
Yeah, so maybe
so
that's not.
should we talk about what we want our first challenge to be
Yeah,
and how we
yeah,
want to do this?
yeah. Let's hop into it. Do you want to start?
Well, I want to ask you first, actually,
Okay.
because I feel like you have a lot of thoughts on yours. And we have been talking a lot about how to do this. So we want to take on a new challenge. We want it to be something we kind of, commit to out loud on the podcast that we're going to try. And then I think most of the challenges we talked about will probably be like a month-ish, depending on what it is. And then our thought is we come back here and share with you guys how it's going, what we're learning. Do we hate it? Do we love it? And maybe we can try some stuff that you guys want to try, but don't want to or are too nervous to pull the trigger, and you can live vicariously through us. So anyway, I know, Lauren, we've had a lot of ideas, but you keep coming back to one that you seem to feel pretty passionate about.
Yeah. So I think that I think it stems from just a while back and just also working in social media. Social media is in every part of my life. I'm one of the, I know I have an addiction. I know a lot of us do. So I'm not trying to say
We all do.
Yeah, we all have a weird addiction to our phones, but for me, it's specifically social media. So I think it's because I've always used it to advance whatever I'm doing. So a long time ago, I wrote a blog back at the beginning of my relationship with my now husband. And I would use that Twitter to post about that. And that kind of started this not daily, but just like updating my life on social media. And that ended up being a really successful blog, and it was really fun. And actually another challenge I'm thinking about in the future is to take that blog and reimagine it as a book just for myself, just to like print out for me.
Yes.
So that'd be fun. But anyway, so social media, I've been doing it for work for, 15 years. And I'm addicted. I know I am. Like when I make a cake for a client, I film it. I put it on TikTok. I share it to Facebook. Now I just started putting it on YouTube Shorts because I was like, maybe I can eventually make money off these videos. It's not happening yet, but I was like, so I put it everywhere. And then I have to go see like how it's doing, right? So like I post it and I have to go look and see how it's doing.
Good
So like I said, right. It's like when I read a book, I finish the book, I write the review, post a review on Goodreads, post a review on my Instagram, like take a cute picture for Instagram of the book. And then I have to go see like who's interacting with it. And then like my sister and I did this like really fun dancing, kickboxing TikTok. We were making videos during COVID and it was so fun. But that too is like, you do the thing, you put it on social media. And so I've realized I'm so addicted to social media. Like if I'm like, my son wants to, shoot hoops in his room. He's got a little hoop in there. And I'm like itching to check my phone. Like I'm itching to like, I have it right next to me. And like, if I could tell you the number of times that my kids have been like, Mom, put your phone down, or like, pay attention to me. Or did you see that? Like some weird skip dance they do. Like, did you see it? And I didn't see it. And so I did also notice like my son was like, hey, can you video me and put it on TikTok? And I was like, okay, this is becoming a problem. Like, I feel like my kids are noticing where my attention is. I literally feel the itch of wanting to check it. So I think my first challenge should be to just cold turkey get off social media. I know this sounds like a terrible time to do this when I'm trying to launch a podcast, because clearly we have to market this. So that's a problem for, we'll have to use your social to market this. But
I can help with that. I can help
you
with
do that. And so this morning I deleted Facebook from my phone. I deleted Instagram from my phone. I deleted TikTok from my phone.
Okay, so all platforms, you're going to go cold turkey.
Cold turkey. I was trying to decide if YouTube counts, because I'm not someone who just watches videos on YouTube. I only use it to post like a cake video or something, or I'll use it to like figure out how to do something, right? Like, how do I do this?
Yeah.
I like look on YouTube for a video. Same with like, if I want to make a high protein dinner, I use TikTok to find recipes. So now I'm like,
I know.
I gotta figure out how to do all this without using these apps, because that's how you start. But then you end up scrolling for an hour, and then you're like, well, now we're just gonna order dinner in, because I definitely didn't make anything. So that's So I'm going cold turkey. I'm gonna find different ways to.
So have you been on this morning?
No. So right when I woke up this morning, I deleted the apps. I didn't even check them. I was like, I'm not gonna check. And then I'm like, really, what's actually going on that I need to know? Also, I think just in the realm of what's happening in our country, I don't need to see everyone's opinions and read, because I get deep in these comments. And then I'm like, what am I doing? Why am I reading these comments when it's not helpful to me? Bad for my mental health. So I think it's a great time to turn them off. I talked to you about maybe should I do 2 challenges, like get rid of social media and then focus that time on something else. But I think for right now, it's a big enough challenge, because actually our first challenge is we're launching a podcast. Like, that's out of our comfort zone. Like, we are already learning microphones and like editing. Like, this is wild for us. So that is already one challenge, a big one. And 2, quitting social media for a week. I'm hoping that after that week, I'm like, wow, that was really helpful. I should definitely, put some limits on my social media. I would love if I could never get back on it, but that's just not me. I'm being honest.
Well, I'm so interested to see what you learn after a week. I mean, I think it's a good place to start. I think so many of us share exactly your experience with, I mean, it's a drug. It's a drug we're all addicted to. They design it to be addictive. And I'm curious to see how much time you feel like you get back. And then
I already know that, like, I'd be like lifting weights, right? I would do a set and I'd get on my phone while I recover, right? But then I'm like deep in some story about someone's child. I was like, I don't even know this person. I'm like, oh, I'm supposed to do another set. So I realized even my workouts are going to like be so much shorter once I'm not using that time to just mindlessly scroll. And like, I would scroll on my walk up to the school to get the kids. I don't need to do that. I could just walk, or I could, listen to a book or music, or I could just be in the quiet. Like, it's not, I need to relearn how to be in the quiet and how to like not have chaos at my fingertips. I need to stop. So I think I'm going to realize how much quicker other tasks get done. Like, I'll fold clothes, fold a couple shirts, scroll for a second. Oh my God. My husband's like, what is taking you so long to do this laundry? And I'm like, I don't know. Just chin up.
My toxic trait is carrying my GD laundry basket around the whole house. It just follows me around the house. I just carry it everywhere I go. It follows me. It sits on the floor, and it takes me, I don't know, an average of 3 business days to get through one basket. At least. Yeah. Because as soon as I pick up one shirt and fold it, it's like all of a sudden my whole body feels like I need to look up something on the internet. I need to check my email. I need to look at that thing or whatever. And so anyway, just to say, nothing makes me want to do something else more than folding laundry. So
or I'll feel like I earned it. It's like, oh, I did that. Now I earned, like, I could scroll for a little bit.
Scroll time.
That shouldn't be, but it is like a dopamine hit. So like, now I'm afraid what habit is going to replace my scrolling habit. And I'm really afraid it's going to be a shopping habit. So I need to
preach.
I've been there. In. Yeah.
Well, maybe there's like something self-soothing you can do, like small. Yeah. You need like a stone rub or something.
I know, right? Yeah. I feel like something that adds
like remind yourself motion. To be still.
No one else has like a scrolling motion that I can just, I don't know. But I think like, so I think like what I want to, I want to clean my house. I want to deep clean my house. Like, so I think if I just listen to an audiobook or podcast and just clean, that this week I can focus on cleaning, and then being present with my kids. I feel like I have this goal every year where I'm going to be more present with them. I'm going to play with them. I'm going to watch their shows with them. Because half the time I'm like, well, they're watching like some dumb cartoon that it doesn't matter if I'm watching it. I'm sitting here. So then I would scroll during that. And then it's like, all right, then they're like, well, did you see that? And I'm like, yeah. Like, no, I didn't see that. I'm looking at my phone reading some. So also, it's a learned behavior. I don't want my kids to eventually, like, we're trying to go no phones for as long as humanly possible for these kids. But I don't want them to then have the same problem I have or think that it's okay. Because my husband and I are both on our phone all the time in front of them. And I know it's bad. And I know I've got to put a stop to it. Especially like we'll be at like dinner eating at the table, like in the kitchen. And I'm like itching to touch my phone. And I'm like, why? I should be enjoying these kids and our family time. And instead, I just want to randomly scroll about other people. Like, it's wild. I need to rewire my entire brain, actually. I don't think 1 week is going to do it, but it's going to do something. So,
well,
I think
it's going to be a good start. And I think you're going to learn a lot. And I'll probably learn a lot vicariously through you and maybe be inspired to do the same. And I think, like, for me, I have the same problem with my kids, and it's like, it's hard. And so maybe it's just, sometimes I start with just literally setting a timer for myself of like 10 minutes. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to give them my undivided attention for this 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's not all day. It's not all the time. And, you know, of course, I wish it was more than that. But like, at least that's a good place to start. And like, I'm only focusing on them and I'm getting into their games and doing all the things that, you know, sometimes aren't my favorite, but it's like a focused time.
Yeah.
Also, do you follow Caro Chambers?
No.
So she is a cook. She wrote the book What to Cook When You Don't Feel Like Cooking, which is like right up my alley.
All the time.
Yes. And she has a great Substack. Everybody check her out. Shout out Caro Chambers. And she recently talked about doing this thing where she's going to start treating her cell like a landline in her house. That's like her resolution.
Yeah.
And she's going to pick a place in her house to keep it. And then like, if you want to use it, you have to go to it instead of like carrying it around your house with you.
Yeah.
And even that, I think, would be very challenging. I don't know about you.
That'd be very challenging. But why? Like, because of social media. It's not, I do like to take pictures of my kids, like when we're doing things. I even had a friend of mine was like, I quit taking and posting pictures and putting them on social media because I realized I was manufacturing that moment. Like, they're not candid photos. I would be like, hey, we're at this resort. Now I need a picture. Now I need to put it online. So instead, he like started a shared album with his family. So like when he posts a picture of his kids, he just puts it in that shared album, like not online, like, you know, shared iPhone album or Apple album or whatever, so that they can all see it. And then he's like, is only doing it for family. And it's like candids and like, because I'm like, God, how often do I do that? I'm like, wait, stop this moment that we're having so I can capture it and put it on social media. Why? Why do I feel the need to do that? I don't know, but I need to break it. It's like, it's kind of like if you don't post it, did it happen? You know, because I'm already thinking, this is where my brain goes. So today is Tuesday. I'm going to go 1 week without social media. My son's birthday is Monday. This sounds so dumb, but I'm already like, how am I going to not post about his birthday? Like, how am I going to not be like, my kid's 8 now? Like, but then I'm like, why do I care?
Will you take pictures with your phone?
Yes, but then now I'm like, maybe I should get like a digital camera or like a phone that's not connected to carry just for photos. Wow. That's dumb. You would just get a camera, right? I don't know.
I
feel like I feel like I have more of a problem than normal people have with this.
First of all, I don't think you should don't shit on yourself. Don't shame yourself too much because I do not think you're alone. To anybody who's actually listening to this first podcast, please let us know if Lauren is not alone.
Am I
and
crazy?
If you also are equally addicted, because I have a suspicion that you're not alone. And I mean, do you have the control, I think, to use your phone to take pictures and video and stuff of like during his birthday, but then not posting it?
Yeah, if the apps aren't on my phone, because the worst thing in the world is to go back and re-download something and remember passwords. Like, no, like I'm not doing that.
Oh,
so I know. So that's a great new ones. But yeah, I think that if my apps are not on my phone, that I can use it as a camera. Okay. I think like this morning I caught myself like, where was I? Oh, I was before I did a kickboxing class this morning, but I had like a few minutes to kill at the gym before it started. So I was like, that usually I would be scrolling. And so I just like looked at my phone, like, I don't know what to do. Like, I don't know what to do. And so I have like the Time Hop app on my phone, and Time Hop basically, goes back and shows you all your photos from this day every year past. And so I was
Yeah.
doing that. And I was like, is this social media? I don't think it is. It's just photos. Like, I don't think it counts as social media. So, I mean, reflecting on photos from the past years feels healthy or not unhealthy. So I feel like that one's okay to still have on there.
Yeah.
But
I
yeah,
agree.
so I'm like, it's only been 6 hours of no social media. I've already picked
Are
up my
you
phone.
are you
I
like
picked up my
ticking?
phone 7 times and I'm like, what do I do with this? Now it's a brick to me. It does nothing. I'm like, serves no purpose to me right now. So like, I think it'll probably like, it'll probably increase the amount of texting I do, or like just like,
Yeah.
but maybe that's good to like reach out to people and reconnect,
Well,
or like,
you can just text me if you're feeling a moment of
yeah,
weakness. Just text
like,
me and just be like, I need to be on my phone right
it's like
now.
it's like
Tell
you're
me
my
a
sponsor.
story.
Like, please talk me out of
Yes,
this. I need
seriously,
help.
I'll do it.
Yeah. So I think it'll
Okay,
be hard when I
awesome.
need to like find recipes or learn how to do something. I might have to
That's
like
fair.
have my
Maybe you can
husband look
just
it up.
be a true elder millennial like we are and use your laptop. Google it.
Oof. I'm trying to figure out if I can block those sites from my computer because I'm afraid. That's what I'm afraid of. I'm gonna just get on my computer and go right to Facebook, which
Oh
I don't
yeah.
need. Okay, let's talk about you. What do you want to
Okay.
do?
Okay, so I thought a lot about it, and I know I've already talked about this is like the thing I've talked about today more than anything, but I think I want to try like a little writing class. And so I found online, it's like through Coursera, it's a free online poetry writing class. And
Okay.
so I think for me, like I need an accountability thing. Like I need to like sign up for I mean, honestly, I should probably pay for it because then I would really be more
Yeah.
accountable. But something that I commit to that's like a class that I have to finish, or else I just like fall off I don't know. I just have a hard time following through.
Yeah.
And then the class that I picked, I really like too because it has peer review. So like the people who are in the class review each other's work and give you feedback. So I think that'll help. And then I think just to up the ante, I was thinking about trying to find like an open mic somewhere to
Oof.
go read something
That
out
is
loud to
way out of
people.
the comfort zone.
Also, frankly, I feel a little bit like, who do you think you are doing that? Because like, how am I gonna be
No.
like, I'm gonna try writing poetry for 30 days for 1 month. I think 1 month is what I'm gonna try.
Yeah.
It's a 6-week course, but it's like self-paced. So I think if I like do it more frequently than once a week,
Yeah.
I can get through it quicker. And then who am I to be like, oh, and then I'm gonna go to an open mic and
You're a
read it.
writer.
But
You're
I
creative.
feel like having that as an end goal though, and like I just feel like that'll increase the pressure and the accountability on me to like keep up with it because I want to have something to
Yeah.
read to not totally embarrass myself.
No, I think
And
doing
then
that
maybe
kind of
if
thing,
I'm brave,
I think it's about embarrassing yourself. Get out of your comfort zone. Let's do this stuff.
and maybe if I'm really being brave, maybe I'll record it.
Yeah.
Oh, Gary, do you think I should?
I mean, it can't hurt, you know?
TBD.
Even if it's just for you. Even if you just
There you
record it
go.
just for you.
I'll decide whether or not to share it with you guys. But
Yeah.
I think I don't really want to, but I kind of feel like that would make it more compelling and will keep me on the
Yeah.
hook for like practicing if I have to just embarrass myself a little.
I'm getting
But
like
I'm-
kind of sweaty just thinking about you doing that. Like I'm just like,
Same.
oh.
But I think what I really want to do more than anything is just commit myself to like trying something new that's a little uncomfortable and like committing myself to the practice of it, just like writing every day or even if it's just like a little bit. So that's mostly what I want to do with this course.
Yeah.
I've also thought about like for future challenges, maybe becoming like a plant lady or starting a garden, maybe. I don't know if that's interesting.
You do have a very attractive plant behind you. I have never kept a plant alive ever. Ever. We do have raised flower beds. I know, like we have raised flower beds in our backyard. Last time the guys were out here, we had them like put the irrigation in it. So like we have, it's ready. I know nothing about gardening. I don't know if I have an interest in it, but like it feels like I should like grow your own food. That'd be cool, right? Like I think cauliflower grows well here and I love it. My husband wants to plant like onions and jalapenos, but like we have dogs, and if the dogs eat the onions, like that's bad. So like I don't know, but yeah, I think that's a good idea. I think. What else are you thinking of? Like, what are some other random ones?
What else am I thinking of? I should have put my list in front of me. What else? We talked about. So the one crazy one we talked about. Should we share that today?
Let's share it. Like, I mean, I think people are wondering about it, and I think we should give the people what they want.
Give the people what they want. So, in the vein of making money,
Yes.
Lauren, where did you even hear about this idea? I guess people do in the world.
Yeah, people hear about this. But we're talking about if we wanted to learn how to make money or figure out, can you really make money realistically by selling feet pictures? And how exactly does one do that? Now, luckily, I don't know if I told you this, a friend of mine is very interested. Like, and so she was like, no, you can use my feet. Like, you don't have to use your feet. Use my feet. Do this whole thing. And I was like, heck yeah. Because like my biggest concern obviously is like people at my kids' school being like, oh, their mom sells feet pictures. You know, like they like found out about it.
But then they have to admit that they were out shopping for feet pictures.
Or they listened to the podcast. It was like, this lady's selling feet pictures. You know what I mean? I just feel like I'm on the PTO. I don't need to be also the mom selling feet pictures. So as long as they're not my feet, I feel like it's okay.
How unique do you think your look?
I mean, in the summer, the drop-off parents would see my like pedicure, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. But luckily, I do have a friend who is down to be our guinea pig.
Okay, if we have some feet stand-ins, then we can try selling feet pics. I mean,
but yeah, I'm gonna go through. I think we need to go through the whole like, here are the places you sell them. Like these are the accounts you need to set up, and then once you have those accounts, again, this is gonna break my social media fast whenever we do this. But you're gonna have like a TikTok for your feet pictures to drive people to the website. And so it's like, what websites do you use? How do you monetize it? How do you build an audience? Like, and then you have to do like really creative foot pictures. It can't just be a foot, right? Like it has to be like,
like what are people into?
Foot dipped in honey? I don't know.
Are there specific foot poses?
I mean, that's something to learn. And then we can share it with whoever wants to hear it.
I just feel like we're about to stumble into some really unsavory territory.
I'm sure. We're going to find out about some weird, not to kink shame, but we're going to learn some stuff.
I mean,
about what people like. But if you can make money off of it, like, I feel like it's...
Oh my God, I love it.
It's just feet. I don't know.
I mean, it's just feet.
I think that's something... Yeah, I think... What were some other ones we talked about? That'd be... Oh, like, so... Right when I was like, what can I do to make money at home that's not a full-time job where I can still like, you know, go to my kids' events and whatnot. And one of the TikToks I came across was this chick and she was like, I make $20,000 a month just uploading photos from my camera. And I was like, what are you talking about? I have 9 billion photos on my camera. How do you make money off these? And what she was talking about is selling her own photos as stock photography. So on things like Shutterstock, you can be like a Shutterstock contributor. I think Adobe has one. So I was like, oh, let's try this. Like, why not? So I just created like a Shutterstock contributor account. And I was looking, I live in Colorado. So I have a lot of cool, like just landscape photos of mountains, sunsets, fall colors, leaves. Like I take a lot of photos. And so I was like, those are ones that you can use because they're saying like companies more and more want that more organic look. So like stock photos from real people versus photographers sometimes is what they're looking for in whatever campaign they're doing or
interesting.
So I was like, all right, if this chick's making $20,000 a month, like why not? Let's try it. I've made $0. Okay. I've uploaded. First of all, it's not as easy just uploading a photo, right?
Yeah. No.
You gotta upload the photo and then you have to like create the whole description, all the tags, put it in the right category. Like it's each one takes some time. It's not like a just upload and leave it. And so then you upload it, and then there are talent releases and different releases you need to fill out if there's, you know, a building shown or like there's all these releases you need as well if you show people and whatnot. And then you upload it. Then I had to wait. So I uploaded like 66 photos and videos, and then I waited. It took maybe 7 days for them to be reviewed. And so then they were reviewed, and like maybe half of them were approved, and then like a handful of them were approved only to let AI learn things, like not as real photos. And then some were rejected because like there was some sound in the background that wasn't like basically whatever. So anyway, so the girl on TikTok was a liar. I don't know how she's making, but then I realized she's making 20,000 selling courses to teach how to do this. And I'm like, that's very annoying. So,
and she's probably spending more of her time like just doing that.
Yeah, you know, so I fell for that. My photos have been available on Shutterstock for maybe 6 days now, with 0 downloads, $0 made.
Maybe we can put the link in our notes.
Y'all try it. Let me know.
You guys can
maybe if you need 5 random Colorado photography, please download mine so I can make
I love it.
0.009s.
I thought about trying, sorry to change the subject.
No, go.
Cold plunge. I've never done it.
Yes.
I know you're a cold plunger.
I'm a cold plunger. And that's the
So
other thing that's
I
kind of annoying is that I was like, as I thought of these challenges, I'm like, oh, let's try, intermittent fasting. I already do that. Let's do cold plunging. I already do that. So it's like, maybe these are some things that you can do. But
yeah.
The cold plunge, we've owned ours for maybe 2 years now. My husband is really into it, and he like gets this. He one time like went swimming in this river in somewhere Colorado, and he like got out and he was like, "Oh my God, I have this rush and these tingles, and like I feel amazing." He was like, "I'm buying a cold plunge today," because he wanted to like recreate that feeling, right? And like, there's a lot of research behind all the benefits of cold plunges. So first it was his thing, he was doing it, and then I was like, if it has these benefits and it's in my backyard, I should just do it. So I started doing it too. I don't get that. I do not get that rush he gets.
Really?
I get it. I'm like, this is awful. This feels bad. This feels very bad. My toes are cold. How many more minutes? I try to do like 5 minutes. And it's like, there are days I'm out there and it's snowing. It's actively snowing and I'm in 30-degree water and I have to get out and then walk through snow barefoot because it's a very short walk. But I do it. I don't know if my body's reaping benefits, but I do tell myself.
do you feel
that's the only thing I feel. And this goes along with like some people say you're more successful if you make your bed every morning. I don't make my bed. But if I cold plunge, like it's that feeling of you did something really hard, something really mentally hard first thing in the morning. So now your day is kind of set for like, I did that. I can do today. Like I can do these hard things. So I get a little bit of that. Like I just kind of, and then I was also using it as like muscle recovery because when I was lifting heavy weights, like maybe it has a benefit. I don't know. So I used it as that. But yeah, are you interested in doing it?
I am interested to see just, if like what all the hype's about, if I feel the benefit. I don't work out first thing in the morning. I work out like midday typically. Yeah. So that's my only thought. It's like, it makes sense to do it first thing, but I also feel like you'd want to do it after you work out. So I don't know. I got to think about that. And then I don't know if I want to invest in a tub. So I was thinking about like, I was talking with my husband about like, could we just use our bathtub for a little while and like just invest in the ice? Anyway, so
it is an investment. I think we're on version 4. Our first one sprung a leak. Our second one, then we tried like the lay down kind. It was like kind of like an inflatable paddleboard material. Never did we use it that it didn't have a hole in it. And so I'm like, this one, my husband was like painting it with like that clear stuff that dries because we were trying to find any patching it. Basically, that one was expensive and never worked. And so now we have like a stand. It has steps to go up to it, and it's like you like get in it. You just like walk up the stairs and then get in, and just like you walk up the stairs, and then that mental like put your foot in, just do it. Like it's so hard. And it has a little seat in it, so then we just sit in it, and it's comfortable. I like this one. But yeah, originally, so we ended up buying a chiller for it and a filter. So it ends up being an investment if you want to do it right, because otherwise we were like, you had to make so much ice to keep it cold, especially like in the summer and whatnot, that we then bought an ice machine, and then we're like freezing giant Tupperwares of ice like overnight that you then had to like carry out. I was like, this is a hassle. So I will say,
but you guys must have some benefit because you keep doing it.
We're doing it. Yeah, we're still doing it. 2 years, but I don't know.
That's a lot.
Yeah, so we'll see. But yeah, that's another. That could be another future one for you.
And we also really want to hear from you if you are still
please
this far. If you're still with us, thank you.
We want to
hear from you.
Yeah,
give us. We want your ideas. Like, what are things you guys want to try? What are things you think we should try? There's all kinds of ideas we have, but we would really love to hear from you. So please share with us.
Yes, I think we've droned on enough about who we are and why we're doing this. So I think it's time to sign off and just like tell people to, post, give us ideas on our Facebook, Instagram.
Well, I would say we have an email address. You can email us. So you can email us at so if you feel motivated, send us an email, or you can just message us. You can also find us on Facebook, on Instagram, and I think TikTok, Lauren.
Yep, it's up and running.
It's up. We're on TikTok.
I just can't touch it right now. So
okay, I'll look at it.
Okay.
So yeah, reach out, let us know what you think. And more than anything, if you want to check in to see how these challenges are going, and we're both starting, see how Lauren's mental health is doing, see if I'm actually writing any poetry. We will be back next week to give an update. We'll
Mm-hmm.
be publishing every week, so stay tuned. And the most important thing you can do to make sure you don't miss us is to subscribe. While you're there, leave us a review if you like this, or give us your feedback. We want to hear from you.
Yes, we do. All right. So are we doing this?
We are. We'll
We
see you next
started.
week.
Yeah. See you next week. Bye.